Welcome into If You Don't Like That. I'm Ryan in Sacktown in for Grant Napier. Kings at the half down 13 to the Indianapolis Pacers. The Pacers knocking the brakes off the Kings at home, 70-57. Sluggish first half. Let's get to the reason everybody is here. Of course, I'm talking about Jerry Reynolds. Jerry, what are we looking at? What's going on?
Well, we're looking at basically T.J. McConnell turning into Steve Nash and John Stockton all in one. I mean, he's just having his way out there, and I mean, he's a really good player, very underrated, has been for years. And I don't think the Kings, he's really penetrating the ball at will, finding shooters, just breaking the Kings defense down totally. So until they get some idea of how to get to the three-point shooters and get some stops. I mean, this defense honestly just been awful in the first half, just awful.
Yeah, Jerry, it has been bad. I mean, it seems like every 50-50 ball, the Kings are not getting to whatsoever. I mean, points in the paint have been okay, but let's talk about the bench for a second. Sacramento's bench does relatively nothing in the first half. You get 4 points from Malik Monk. The Pacers bench, Jerry, who is supposed to be depleted right now because of this Pascal Siakam trade, showing the Kings up.
Sure are. I mean, a couple of like Ben Shepherd, a rookie, getting guys getting a chance to play. Of course, that happens in the league. Guys really hungry players, but the real point is just the Kings needed their bench to be productive, and they haven't been. Basically, even, De'Aaron hasn't been himself yet either. I mean, certainly I think Domas and Keegan Murray have really played to their level, if not above, but just not enough help other places, and especially the bench, I think. So second half, I mean, if you get the same kind of production from the bench, you're probably going to get the same results at the end.
Yeah, great point, Jerry. I mean, Mike Brown turned to just about everybody in the first half. I mean, we've talked a lot about Sasha Vezenkov. He's been getting more minutes the last couple games. He gets 5. He needs to be better in the second half. I mean, Jerry, it just seems like this Pacers team comes in without Halliburton, right? And the Kings coming off of a terrible 5-minute or 8-minute stretch in Phoenix in which they blow the lead. We've talked about it the last 24 hours, right? So you wanted the Kings to come out tonight and dictate to the Pacers the type of basketball it was going to be. You wanted the Kings to set the tone. And in fact, it's the Pacers doing that. So, Jerry, I'm going to ask this question. Are the Kings an active team or a reactive team?
Well, I don't think there's any doubt they're a reactive team.
Reactive.
Basically and that shows up really on the defensive end in particular, allowing so much dribble penetration on a consistent basis, which really leads to really open threes. Now I don't think the Pacers can continue to shoot at that level, but basically about every 3-point shot they took was a very comfortable, feet on the floor. Take a look, and that's what you get.
That's exactly right. The Pacers shot a very high percentage in the first half from the 3-point line, and just the lack of defense on the perimeter from the Kings a problem, as we put the stats up really quick there for you. Jerry, we talked about the bench a second ago and the dribble penetration, as you said numerous times on this halftime show. Again, the Kings down 70-57 to the Pacers. At this point, why are you not thinking about playing Kessler Edwards? His specialty's defense, and he seems to be one of those guys Mike Brown is just not giving a look to.
Well, I mean, I certainly think you really need to be thinking about something a little different. Maybe it's a Keon Ellis or Davion Mitchell on T.J. McConnell. Something, you really got to keep him out of the paint. That's where all the trouble, the defense breaks down on a consistent basis. So, or maybe even zone. I mean, just zone up and just kind of feel like you can maybe get to the 3-point shooters as well, if not better, and stop dribble penetration. But 70 points is 70 points. So whatever you did in the first half, the old saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. Boy, it's broke. So you better try to fix it. you can't necessarily, but you better try and do something different.
Well, some would argue maybe this team doesn't have the tools right now on it to fix it, but that's why they get paid the big bucks to figure those things out, Jer. We just get to sit here and talk about it.
Well, yeah, exactly. And I mean, you look across at Indiana, they were a very poor team last year, 25 wins. And, they've changed their style of play. Rick
They
Carlisle,
have.
I never thought I'd see him open the game up like he has. And, he's always been a very structured half court kind of coach. But they're they're playing the Kings game better than the Kings. And that's without Halliburton. So and they've been
exactly.
good. It's not just tonight. They've been good without Halle pretty much right along. I mean, that's the thing. They've got a style of play that they're really good at. And well, you can see with Halle healthy and Siakam, the East, they added another contender, I think.
Oh, they certainly did. I mean, the Kings, Jerry, and this is in the Pacers, the assist numbers. You look at what Halliburton, as you said, has done this year. Just now with Siakam going there, it could be a little scary based off the way their role players are playing here in Sacramento. But the Kings, again, we look back to the first half in Phoenix tonight. They have 19 assists, Jerry, in the first half. So they're sharing the ball. The ball's moving. 38 points in the paint. Turnovers aren't terrible. Only 5. Should you be concerned or should you be happy if you're a Kings fan?
Well, you should be very concerned because, offense could be a little better for sure, but it's on the defensive end. I don't think that this Pacer team, we're not talking about the Celtics, getting 70 put on you, and this team can score. I mean, they've proven that, like I say, with Halliburton, without Halliburton. But you got to be concerned because if they score 70 in the second half, you can't win.
No, that's 140.
So I'm not real good in math, but I figured that out some time ago.
It's good enough. It's good enough. So again, Kings down 70-57 here at the half. Surprised that I've not heard a couple sprinkling of boos from the G1C at this point.
Yeah, it may happen. I mean, obviously the Kings need to come out and get back in this game. I mean, they certainly were in touch all the way until right at the end, I thought. I mean, they had a chance and a couple of mistakes and Carroll a little out-hustled play, and now you got a 13-point lead where it should have been 7 or 8. And that would have been so. So I think the fans are, rightly so. They're looking for a better performance in the second half, and certainly, they've got every right to expect that. And the Kings, they've got the talent to get back in this game within 5 or 6 minutes, and then see where we go.
See where the chips fall. Yeah, Kings looking to put an end to the losing streak here tonight. They got another half about hole to dig out of. Kings down 70-57 here at the first half. Thank you for turning into If You Don't Like That. That's Jerry Reynolds. I am Ryan in Sacktown. We're happy to have you here on the show. Jerry, we're getting a lot of questions from the chat about zone defense. Does that seem like a viable option for Sacramento?
I do. I mean, I think it would certainly make it tougher for them to penetrate. You're taking something off the board. Now, the way they're shooting threes, that usually a zone will give a little more 3-point opportunities. But the reason I wouldn't be too scared of, because the threes they're getting you couldn't give them any more comfortable threes than they got. So you're going to give up some threes, but you'd like to think maybe in a zone you could also chase them off the line a little better.
Yeah, you would hope so. And that's where the Kings need to improve here in the second half defensively. 70 points, far too much for a depleted Indiana Pacers team coming in to Sacramento, putting it on the Kings. Jerry, Keegan Murray, very, very good first half. He continues to impress me the last 2 weeks. Some of the moves he's making offensively, they seem more like veteran moves. What are you seeing from him tonight?
Well, you're exactly right. I mean, I think Keegan, just continued improvement. You see little bits and pieces new every now and then. Obviously, his stats are 4 or 5 points better into scoring. I mean, it's been a clear improvement in his second year, and now we're seeing a little more hungriness on the offensive end, which is good.
Yes.
Basically, look instead of just kind of blending in too much, like he's such a good young man, but he knows this team needs him to go make plays, and he's doing that. And I just think, really, I think he's a star in the making. I don't think there's any reason to believe otherwise.
Yeah, I'm with you, Jerry. I think we're watching something special with him at the very least. So I would be remiss if I asked, because Jerry is a good old boy from French Lick, Indiana. What's it like watching the Pacers and your Kings playing?
Yeah, it's always special. The fact is, I texted Larry Bird before the game. I
No
said,
way.
it's Kings Pacers game of the century. So I hadn't heard back. He'll probably wait till after the game. But yeah, because I grew up, basically liking the Pacers, and of course I remember when they were an ABA team. So we really go back. But it's all Kings for me now. I mean, that's Indiana's my second home now. So.
It's got to be cool, though. I mean, the memories that you staying in contact with Larry Bird, that's pretty cool. I mean, that Pacers organization, Jerry, you got to say they're set up was pretty good as anybody else in the NBA.
Oh yeah, they've always. I mean, I think the front office, Kevin Pritchard, general manager, just outstanding, and for years they had Donnie Walsh as a consultant, and now Larry has come back to be a consultant again. He took a couple of years off, and I think got tired of doing nothing, and is back as a consultant. So of course Larry had hired Kevin Pritchard. So I've always said, I mean, they've got stability and they got quality people where you're supposed to have them. So when they've been down, it's always been a short turnaround. I mean, that the Pacers had 2 or 3 bad years, but here they are back being really a quality team, which over the years. Pacers probably every 15 years are in the playoffs, 12, 13 years.
Exactly right. And a lot of people forget about those series that the Pacers had with the Miami team, with the Heatles. Those were intense series in the Eastern Conference Finals.
Yeah, they've just been one of those small market teams that, had a lot of 50-win season, were really good, just not quite good enough to get out of, just one of those deals. Good, but not good enough. And I always say that's, as a fan, that's what you really would. You always want your team to be a championship contender, but what you really like is to be good consistently, and then kind of the West, where good for a number of years, only good enough.
Yeah, well, consistently, that C word is the one that many Kings fans, and I know we've said a lot here on If You Don't Like That this season. Hopefully the Kings can find that down 70-57 here at the half. We're going to get ready to get you back to the game. So happy to have Jerry here. Okay, so I'm going to put you on the spot, Jerry. So I don't know if you watched last week with NFL football, but Jimmy Johnson gave a empowered halftime speech to the Dallas Cowboys from the NFL Fox studios. The Cowboys were getting killed at halftime. These Kings fans, they've had a tough 72 hours. This team's looking to pull it together. You got a pep talk for him here for the second half, Jerry, and for the team?
Well, one thing I'd say is I'd tell, the players, it's like, hey, you're going out there and you're playing in front of the most loyal fans in this league. They deserve the best game you got. And that means everybody. When I put somebody from the bench in, you go in and play and you compete. If we lose the game, it's because they deserve to win and they're better. No other reason will be accepted. How's that?
Boom. I love it. We are ending on that, Kings fans. If you can't find some positive in that, can't find some positive anywhere. I love it. Jerry, thank you so much for joining me at halftime. I really, really appreciate it.
Thanks, Ryan.
All right.
Hope for a different kind of half. I think we'll see, and I think we'll get it.
Yeah, I'm not even asking you for a score, Jerry. I just want some effort in the second half, because I feel like the effort will change some of the things we've talked about automatically. And don't you just kind of feel it?
It always does. Good old-fashioned effort, throwing your body around a little bit. get Keegan and Domas a little bit of help, and especially your point, the bench. The bench has got to step up.
The bench has to step up. Jerry, it feels like one of those nights that if the Kings can beat the Kings, they'll end up with a W against the Pacers.
I think that's it in a nutshell.
There you go.
That's can't put it any simpler than that.
There it is. All right. Well, I will be back to wrap things up post-game. Jerry, thanks again for being here at halftime. Thank you all for being here at halftime. We'll be back on If You Don't Like That after the game. Go Kings. See you after the game.